Hello and welcome to the York Creatives Podcast. My name is Ben Porter, and each week you can join me as I chat to someone from York's creative community. This week's guest is Lauren Roberts. Lauren is a tattoo artist specialising in watercolour tattooing. She has developed it further into an abstract painted style, building up her portfolio and reputation as an incredible artist. In 2017 she opened a studio of her own, Adara Tattoo Collective, with business partner Josh Dixon, which has just completed its first successful year. In this episode we discuss the process of developing your style and your career, including the natural instinct to want to take on new challenges, working backwards to reverse engineer what it is you want in life, as well as a reminder to ourselves not to overthink things and get worked up about small details. Lauren, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hello.
So you're a tattoo artist at Adara, which you founded with Josh Dixon in 2017.
Yep.
Do you want to tell me a bit about the backstory to that and how it came about?
We were both tattooing before, previous to opening it, and then we just decided that we just wanted to take the next step, which was to have our own and kind of do things how we had it in mind and, push different areas and stuff like that. So, we just went ahead and thought it out, really.
Was it scary at the time, or was that sort of always the plan to, do something on your own?
I think it was a bit scary. Okay. I think eventually, you always think to yourself, well, it's just natural progression just to move on and do something like that. But you never really think about it when it actually happens. And when it does happen, you're kind of a bit like, oh, it does freak you out a little bit. But it did help having Josh doing it with me. I don't think either of us ever felt like we were on our own doing it. And, you've got the support from each other to do it. So,
how did you pick up all the other extra bits? Because obviously you're not just tattooing anymore. You got to think about your books. You got to think about all the legal stuff. Was it just sort of throw yourself into the deep end and see what happens, or was anybody advising you? Or?
No, we just did it. I mean, obviously being self-employed and a sole trader anyway, I understand all the book side of it because I've been having to do it myself for the past few years. So in that respect with the shop, it's essentially the same thing. Okay,
is that how it worked at True Colour? You were self-employed working there?
Yes, yeah. So I was self-employed and then I worked there. So it's kind of working the same way. I'm still classed as that, but me and Josh have then got this business that we work for. So books wise and everything, it's kind of what I'm used to doing. And then the rest of it, we just made a list, what do we need? We need insurance and you need licensing and you need this, that and the other. And we just worked through it together and got everything else sorted.
It's the best way because they don't really teach you any of that stuff in school.
But no, they definitely
then once
don't.
You can do it, it's like, oh, what else can I do?
I know, it takes ages to get your head around, but once you get it, it's all right. But you're definitely not taught any of it.
So if we jump back, what made you want to get into tattooing in the first place?
Do you know what? I think it's when I was maybe about 16, 17, there's all of a sudden this big influx of TV shows and magazines and books and I don't know and because you're a little bit older, the friends that you have that are a bit older are starting to get tattoos, and it's kind of something that you never really think about, or at least I hadn't really thought about, because none of my family have got tattoos or anything like that. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, this whole world kind of exists. And I've always done art and painting and drawing and all that, even from when I was really young. And so I think when I just realised that it was such a thing, and I used to see people tattooing or watch videos of tattooing, or you see it on TV or whatever, and you start to think, actually, I think that'd be I'd really enjoy that. So I just started trying to gear myself, get a portfolio together and everything, because again, it's that same thing, you're not really taught it in school or college or whatever. You have to do it off your own back. So I worked backwards and I was like, well, if I want to go into tattooing, I need to get an apprenticeship, and to get an apprenticeship I have to have a portfolio. And so, do you know what I mean? I just did it all like that, really.
So in your work you use a lot of watercolour elements. What was it that drew you to that kind of style?
Because when I was at college and I had to do your projects for A-level and foundation and stuff like that, I always kind of worked with mixed media. I never really sat down and just drew something. I'd just mix things up with spray paint or wax or normal paint or sewing into things or whatever. And so I think when I started doing my apprenticeship, I was like, how can I get that element of mixed media and kind of being a bit collagey and making a bit of a mess into my sort of tattoo designs. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can I do something that is kind of going to mirror the style of work I was doing at college, like what I'd kind of developed there. And yeah, I think that's how it came about. I started like painting a few more of my designs, and watercolour at the time. I was like, well, this is one of the paints I'm most familiar with. And then I didn't even actually think it was a thing. I didn't actually even know that this whole watercolour tattooing thing really existed. And then I realised that it was, and I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to push that then. That's fun. Yeah.
So how does it actually work? Because you're not using like watercolour ink on skin, are you? Like, are you just kind of copying the style?
Yeah. So I mean, it's actually no different. Well, for me personally, I mean, I can't speak for everyone who does that kind of style, but I don't do anything differently with the inks. Like, I don't water them down in the same way that your watercolours watered down or anything like that. I just look at the shapes that the paint makes, and I try to mimic that, because ultimately, if I don't still tattoo it in the same technique or way that I would something else, it's maybe not going to stay as well in the skin. So it's more about changing the shapes that you make, so that they look more painty, and putting like extra little details in and just doing things a little bit differently, but the technique is still the same. Yeah. So
what was it like the first time actually tattooing on a person? Was that a bit nerve-wracking? Or?
Yeah, I was well scared. I think I did a star as well. So,
okay, what was the situation? How did you get into doing that?
Into doing the first one?
Yeah.
Well, I was at True Colour doing my apprenticeship, and it just been however long, maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 months or something like that. And I started out there just drawing all the time and watching all the time, and then got round to setting up machines, but just practicing. So you can get this stuff called practice skin, which is a bit rubbish really, but it gives you an idea of how the machine feels to hold, and so you can tattoo into that. And I used to tattoo fruit as well, like bananas and oranges and stuff like that. And then you kind of get to this point where your next step is to just tattoo someone and like see what skin's like. And there was a guy who was friends with the people at the studio, so he said, oh yeah, you can do your first one. I think it was on his ankle, and obviously it was like supervised and stuff, but I was really nervous about it, like really, really nervous about it, because I don't know, like I was just like, oh, I have no idea how this is going to be.
It's that permanent thing, isn't it? How did it go? Was
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
It went absolutely fine, yeah. But like I said, I did a star, and it was a nautical star as well, so all the sections were like split in the middle. So I just gave myself like the entire thing of straight lines, which for the first time I was like, oh, this is so nerve-wracking. So
how do you guys promote what you do? Like, where does most of your business come from?
Word of mouth. Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, my friend recommended me, my friend told me to do this, or I've seen what my friends had done and everything. Facebook's really good. I think Facebook helps massively nowadays because everyone's on it. And Instagram as well. We have got Instagram. But yeah, I'd kind of say, yeah, social media platforms and your word of mouth. We don't really use any other social medias like Twitter and all that. Like, don't really understand.
So it's quite a visual thing, so you wouldn't want to sort of, I mean, you can do pictures on Twitter, but Instagram...
I have no idea. I think I've got one.
Yeah. I deleted mine because I just got fed up with people complaining about everything. But Instagram is perfect because, there's all... Again, it comes back to that subculture. There's a whole, like, culture of people who want to see tattoos on Instagram.
Yeah. And all the hashtags and, like, your story and stuff like that. Like, there just seems to be more and more and more ways to find stuff and see stuff, and for people to find you as well. Do
you find that often people want something that because they've seen what you've already done? Or is it often people will come and they'll say, I've seen this thing, can you adapt it for me? And I'm interested, like, how do you keep challenging yourself when people obviously like what you do because they've seen a certain style, but you still need to grow as an artist and try new things? Okay,
so I get the handful of people who see what I do, see the style I kind of work in, and I'm getting to that point now where most people say to me, like, I want this, but do it kind of how you want. Or I have people... like I'll put online and I'll be like, does anyone just want me to come up with something or whatever, and people usually quite interested in that. I mean, you still do get people who want tattoos doing, and they're a bit more specific about how they want it stylized and stuff. But yeah, having the people that will let you lay it out however you want and do it in whatever style you want, and colours, black and grey, whatever. That's how sometimes I think it's really good to like push yourself, and also putting, like, when I have time, like putting extra designs together that aren't booked in and posting them and saying, does anybody want to book in for this?
So you do a lot of conventions and things like that. Do you find they're helpful and challenging?
Yeah, they're definitely challenging. Yeah, because there's so much to do for them beforehand. You know, getting on your business cards and your prints and your photos and your designs sorted, and then your designs sized up and stenciled and everything. And that's even before you get there. And then you have to get there and set everything up and make sure that everything's running all right. And then you have really long days at conventions, because they do have a bit of a time limit on them. You know, you can't, if you want to enter something at the end, or they have a closing time because people want to go home and stuff. It's not like how it could be in your own studio, especially because we did the Cyprus one at the end of March, and I had somebody in that was for 2 days in a row, and it was quite a big piece. It was a really cool piece, but you know, it was in Cyprus, so it was like, I've got this time limit to try and work to, and it has to be finished because it's in Cyprus. You know what I mean? I'm 4.5 hours away on a plane, I think. So that sometimes you can put a little bit of pressure on you, because you are just thinking, like, I really need to focus, and you can't really let yourself get tired or whatever. But on the other hand, you also get a lot of like adrenaline when you're doing the conventions, and it does seem to, it just pushes you. You just, you can just keep going. But yeah, in times, the conventions can be a little bit of pressure, but they are really good, because you do get people. I've had a lot of custom through people who have seen me at conventions, mainly just the UK ones, not particularly the Cyprus one, but ones around the UK like Blackpool or Doncaster or London and whatever. And yeah, and then they'll get in touch with you after the convention and be like, oh, I saw you work at wherever, and I'm interested in getting some work done off you. So they are good. They are really beneficial.
So yeah, there's obviously quite a lot of preparation to do for those, which you mentioned. And then if you're already doing things like creating designs and putting them up online saying who wants this, that's a lot of work. I remember talking to you before and you saying it sort of takes over your life. How do you balance that with, obviously, because you still need to have a life. You don't want to be working all the time. How do you kind of manage that?
I just, I mean, like nowadays, like, now that I have got the business and I can do a little bit more what I want, I cut my working days down to just 5 days a week. So,
which is what a normal person would do.
well, yeah, I suppose. But yeah, so I only do 5 days a week now. But sometimes I'll do 6 in one week or 4 in another, and then say that I've got that extra day or 2 off on that other week. I'll try and get my designs done on them days to give myself time on an evening. Or the other thing is just getting up early before work or staying up late after work and just doing it. But I think I've got it in my mind now, like that's just what I have to do. I don't really think too much about it. I'm just so used to having to do it. I just try to make sure that on a weekend, like if I want to go do something on the Saturday evening after work, that I know that on the Sunday I don't have the work to do, and I can just enjoy sort of one night, knowing that the next day I can just chill, and then just enjoy chilling that day, knowing that I'm like ready for the rest of the week kind of thing. Yeah.
'Cause you need some time to switch off, and otherwise you just go a bit crazy.
Yeah, but so if I've got a lot of work on, I just push it. I'll just do it before I start work, and I'll do it after work. And I'd rather work absolutely loads over the course of however many days, and then be able to have a few days to chill, like take it from one extreme to another. And I just get on with it. You just have to, But you do sometimes get a good, hit easier points where if you've got a lot of ongoing work, say sleeves or bigger pieces or something, your designs are already done. you do sometimes get a week where you've maybe only got 1 or 2 bits to do, and you can relax a little bit more, focus more on yourself. But then, yeah, like I said, on the other hand, you can have really, really, really busy weeks where everything needs doing, and you just can't let yourself be really overwhelmed by it. You just have to do it.
So when you're designing stuff, are you someone do you study other tattoo artists, or do you find inspiration just kind of jumps out from random places like films or music or life in general?
I mean, yeah, I think everyone would probably say that like they get inspiration from other tattoo artists, because I think that's just like natural. It's just what you do when you're in that line of work. You're like, oh yeah, that's really cool, whatever.
But you do get some people who are very meticulous. They kind of study someone else and they'll like do it to the T, so they can kind of get into the mindset of someone else, and then they'll take that into their own work. Whereas other people are just like, oh, that's cool, take a bit of that, a bit of that, a bit of that, and then something from, I don't know, it could be a movie poster, and then they chuck loads of things in together. Yeah,
I think I'm more that way. Like I wouldn't ever literally work so close to someone else's work that it doesn't look. I think it's really important to still do your own thing and have your interpretation of something. But yeah, like I see stuff that other tattoo artists have done. I think that's cool. I see things. I actually mainly follow a lot of artists, like painters and stuff like that, because then I feel like that's the best way for me to develop a bit like an originaler style of tattooing. You know, if you're just trying to tattoo like somebody else, it's not really ever your full style of work, I guess. But if you take your inspiration from other places, or like you said, music as well, like sometimes lyrics give you like a bit of you think something gets said and you're like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Do you know what I mean?
So you're doing much work alongside tattooing?
Yeah, at the moment I'm trying to push the like artwork side of it, well, just art in general, a little bit more. I've made like a few more prints recently. I've tried to put the time aside a little bit more the past few months to do more stuff that isn't just for my tattoos, so like paintings because I want to do them, not just in watercolour. Like I've got an acrylic painting on the go.
Cool.
Messing a bit more. I've got this iPad now, and like I've never messing a bit more with like what you can do on that and stuff, because I still don't really fully understand how to use it, but it is pretty cool. And yeah, I don't know, like making stuff. So I've recently been making like mirrors with my artwork behind it as a different way to display my artwork rather than just say selling a print.
Yeah,
I was like, how else could I display what I'm doing?
Being creative with the format as well as the actual work.
Yeah, because I think it goes back to that thing of like being into mixed media and stuff when I was at college, and wanting to like make something as well and be a bit more like craftier with it. Yeah.
So do you find that there are particular themes that you seem to keep coming back to in your own work?
I seem to do a lot of stuff with like portraits. I do tend to paint or mess around with a lot of them. I think it's because it was something when I started my apprenticeship that wasn't like my strongest area, I guess. I didn't really know where to start with one, or how people, I'd look at them and be like, well, how did they do that so well? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. And I think because I learned it and understood it, and like, I'm not saying that like I'm perfect at it now, but because I've learned a lot more about it, I think because I used to find it so hard, I just keep seeming to do stuff relating to them and that, just because I enjoy it.
Are you someone that likes a challenge in general? Like, do you find yourself, are you competitive or?
No, I'm not like overly competitive. Maybe like I challenge myself, but I don't really share it with other people. I feel like sometimes if you are like really, really competitive, like, I don't know, it means that like you're bringing loads of attention. I don't know, attention to yourself, and people are always watching what you're doing. But I like give myself like just challenges that I know about, or goals or something like that.
So more self-improvement and sort of like, I want to be better than that person.
Yeah.
I get that as well. It's often like, I was never really into team sports or things like that, but if I could just like skateboarding or rollerblading or something like that, it's kind of like, I'll just go out on my own and see if I can do better. If it's just something that you
can just get on with.
Yeah. See if I can do one better than the last time.
Yeah. That's kind of how I think as well. I don't necessarily tell everyone about it and like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and stuff. I'll just mess around with painting, drawing, whatever, and just get on with it and see how something's gonna work out.
So what's something you've learned recently that you wish you knew 5 years ago?
Wow.
Or something that you wish somebody told you when you're starting out?
Maybe just not to overthink things so much sometimes. Like, have more confidence in yourself and know that you can just do stuff, because I look back and I think I spent a lot of time stressing out and being upset about things that like I really didn't need to be, that like wouldn't bother me now. So I suppose recently my mindset has sort of changed a little bit more. I'm a bit more kind of like just try to chill about stuff and not overthink things as much. And like I said, if something needs doing, don't let it overwhelm you, just do it. Sort of thing.
Has that just come through experience, or do you meditate, or has there been books that have helped with that? Or?
I think it's just come from experience, really. Just I don't know why it's like why it's come or whatever. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I have like listened to them like apps that you get, or them like videos and stuff. Mainly like when I can't sleep, because I'm like, yeah, this has got to chill me out. But I think it is just experience and just suddenly just realising, everything is going fine, so don't stress about it too much, just get it done. And also realising that you're not just on your own trying to do things, like I've got really great people that I work with and stuff, so if something just stressed me out, I just talk to them about it and then relax a bit more. Whereas I think I used to take a lot more on and get more wound up by it and overthink everything.
Yeah, well, it's a sign that you've grown, so it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? Because it's Adara Tattoo Collective, isn't it? It's the idea to get more people involved. Is it?
Yeah,
growing?
I mean, I think same as what I was saying earlier. I think like naturally you do just want things to grow and to move on and like be a little bit bigger or a little bit better or whatever. I mean, everything at the moment is like fine. It's perfect. There's absolutely nothing that I could say that isn't good about the business. But I think naturally you do think, we could get maybe like another person in, or we could do, for example, like clothing, or like pushing piercing, or there's so many different aspects of it that you could branch out, do a little bit more with. And I think that we'll like look into them and stuff. I think we've probably sort of spent this first year or so just making sure that everything is just running nice and smoothly, and then we'll start focusing on what more we can do now. Work like a few more conventions next year, and
So if people want to see some of your work, where's the best place to go?
Instagram. Facebook, there's my likes page, there's also the shop's likes page. To be honest, I'd say they're probably the two main platforms that we use, really. That post up on there about like artwork and tattooing.
Cool. I can post all the links in the description so people can click through. Have you got anything coming up that you want to plug?
Just more artwork, really. I'm just trying to, I'm just going to be hopefully trying to push a few more different ideas on different materials and all that to work on.
Cool, sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.